is the way that it was. Just as far back as I can remember, I was always hanging around a drafty old garage, getting grease on my hands and feet, smelling the exhaust and watching my dad and brothers tear down an old truck or Model T, picking up a wore-out fan belt or some other kind of souvenirs. Only one thing on my mind, man, I was dying to dig into them gears. So when I was old enough to get my driver's license and permit, I chucked it all. Quit the 11th grade, went into debt to get my first rig. Skipped town several $100 in arrears. Headed down the open highway, eating that concrete coming my way. Brother, I had it made. At long last, I was jamming gears. I got to know all the spots along the way, and they got to know me. I courted the waitresses and the cashiers. I had a line that wouldn't quit. I was king of the highway, a self-admitted heartbreaker on wheels. They treated me to the coffee, and I treated them to the beers. Them gals couldn't figure out what went on inside my head. How could they, when you and I know there ain't nothing in this old noggin except maybe some gears? Finally set my sights on a pretty little thing south of Ardmore. Every time I pulled away from her place, I had to face a whole passel of her tears. So I says, hon, if you don't like my leaving, then you just pack your little old bag and jump on board. Ain't nobody gonna stop you if you wanna flag my rig. Watch old Daddy make her swing. And for some pretty music, just listen to the humming of my gears. Well, I ditched her down in Brownsville. Told her my run would bring me back in a week or two. Man, I was fed up, clean to my ears. Love 'em and leave 'em was my motto. I had tracks to make, so I flew the coop. Turned old Jenny around and headed north. This time I mean to tell you I was really pushing them gears. Latched on to another up in Kokomo. This looked like the real thing, so I popped the question quick. That's what you gotta do whenever old Ann Cupid appears. We tied the knot and rented a place up the road. She didn't seem to mind my leaving near as much as I did. I just made sure that none of my runs took me near Brownsville, 'cause that one down there could surely recognize the sound of my gears. Well, you know that old saying, that bad nickel always reappears. Next night when I got home, there was Brownsville sitting across from my wife. The wife was crying, the other not saying nothing. Nothing now, that is. And don't you know she had said plenty already. What with all the lies she had piled up on top of the truth. She just sat there silent like, her face all covered with smears. I couldn't say nothing either, 'cause inside my head something had already started spinning. They was roaring, and they was grinding, and all of a sudden I was at the wheel. We was in a blizzard and a sandstorm at the same time. We was headed down Baker's Ridge wide open, and the brakes was gone. The horns and the sirens was blasting my head off. The hood flew off and the motor opened up right in my face. I was diving head first right straight into them whirling, grinding, spinning, greasy gears. Well, that's all of my story, Mr. Reporter. Just tell 'em I'm real sorry for what I done. Think it'll come out in the papers before that old warden appears? If it's worth anything to you, just give it to my widow. Don't know where she is. Just check the truck stops between here and Kokomo. That'll be her sitting there over a couple of beers. And that guy that's buying them, I'll lay you $1,000,000 to 1. He ain't nothing but a crazy mixed-up dropout that run away from home to make his fortune eating concrete.